All you need to start a business is a calendar link and LinkedIn. When I was laid off for the last time, I decided to explore options. And I knew that I was done with being an employee. I didn't have a website. There was no funnel, no email list, no course or community. But I had two things. I had a calendar link, a LinkedIn profile, and 20 years of experience in social media marketing. 6 months later, I was able to build my business up to 10K a month. And then when I started coaching other people, I helped them get there in half the time. So when I see people spending months getting ready to start their business, I just want to say, are you sure you need to do all those things? There is an important caveat, though, is that you do need to have experience. Like I said, I didn't start from nothing. I was starting with experience using social media for marketing. I also knew how to solve problems that businesses would pay for to have solved. So the aspects of marketing in a startup, I knew what they were, and I was very good at them. So I didn't have the infrastructure, but I just went out there in LinkedIn and did what I usually do. So the conversations that are happening on LinkedIn are a great place to be. And I knew that the people who would potentially hire me were reading. They're following people with very large audiences, like 200,000 people. And so I started joining those conversations and commenting and sharing my experience in those conversations. And what happened was the startup founders would see my content, they'd see my comment, and they would click through, go to my LinkedIn profile, book a calendar link. Then I would meet with them, and the beautiful thing was it was their idea. So we'd talk about their problem, I would talk about how I could help them, and then if they would ask what's the price and the logistics, I knew we were good. I have a different video here on that 30-minute sales call, but it didn't feel like sales. And so that's how I started getting my clients within a month of being laid off. And so once I realized this, I created a framework around it to help other people to do it. And within 6 months, I was bringing in 10K a month. So people asked, how are you doing this? And I said, I'm happy to help you. And we realized that it doesn't take 6 months, because when you start out, you have the short path, you know what to do. And so I would help them figure out the places to comment, what to say, and they could do it in 3 months. They were able to build up to 3 months. It was just a matter of getting out in the right places and having the conversations. Now, I didn't have a LinkedIn profile that was huge. I had 3,000 followers. Today, I have 7,000, but it doesn't matter. You could have 500 because they don't care. All they care about is seeing and realizing that you could solve their problem. They click through, make an appointment. So they're not going to look through your content and see how many followers you have. So I think that people get stuck when they say, well, I need to start my own consulting business or fractional. Fractional just means that you're offering what you do at a part-time basis. For example, I did 10 hours a week for each client, a quarter time. But I could do things very quickly because I had done them many times before. So for people who are getting started with building their own business, they think I need a business name, I need to get it incorporated, do an LLC, I need a website. What should my logo look like? Nobody cares. An email list. Should I start a YouTube channel? How do I build a funnel? You don't need all of those other things. And yes, we have AI now, and AI makes it so much easier to create so many assets and all of these things. Let me just say, you don't need that. You can get out and get started. The one thing is that when I work with my coaching students, it's like I remove marketing. I make it disappear because you don't need to learn all of that stuff. And I think the most important thing is you want to get out and make sure that people want to buy the type of service that you're offering. It's the biggest question. If no one wants it, then you're spinning your wheels, and there's no sense in investing 6 months of time building the website, building the messaging, building the web pages. So if you're thinking about how can you start your own business, and you have a lot of experience, if I were you, I'd ask, what's the smallest thing that I can put into the world, the shortest path to getting clients? And it can be as simple as a LinkedIn profile and a calendar link. And I mean, the tools aren't really the point, but you need to get out there so that people see you. I just saw a lady today, she posted on LinkedIn, hey, I need 2 or 3 more clients. Okay. So it might work if she has built up a large audience following her, but she has 500 people following her. Nobody's going to see it. And it's just easier to go where your people are at. It took me 6 months to build up my business to 10K a month. But later, I create a framework and I can teach people to do it in half that time. It does not start with a complicated business. It starts with figuring out what do people need, getting that information out there in comments and having conversations about it. And that's where the magic happens. Because you already have the hardest part done. You have all of your experience. So please subscribe to my channel if you want more videos like this. I have really tried to simplify marketing and getting clients and really starting your own business. I also have a link down below for my free community where you can get this path. And my goal is to help people, to just make it easier. There's so much pain out there in this world. Until the next time.